Hi everybody, it's Brad with the Big Family Homestead, and in this video I'm going to share with you my opinion on the top 5, count them 5 traits I believe you need to have as essential traits to be a homesteader. So let's get cracking. Now before I even get started, I can already hear the moans and groans. He's getting this wrong from the interweb. You guys all have your own opinions, and that's fine. These 5 are my opinion, and that is what the comments section is for. If you think I missed something or you don't like one of the traits I'm putting out there, go ahead and say, hey, The only catch is you gotta be nice. There's no nastiness, no foulness, no ickiness, or else you get bounced. So, without any further ado, the number 5, my view of number 5, the 5th trait I think is very, very important for a homesteader to have, is that you need to know yourself. You need to know who you are emotionally, you need to know who you are, what your abilities are, what your limitations are. Now, some of the greatest leaders throughout history would be wise enough, have been wise enough, like George Washington, for example. He was wise enough to surround himself with a group of people that were all really good at that, really good at that, really good at that, really good at that, even if he was not really good at that. More specifically, because he was not good at that. He would surround himself with people who were skilled in other areas that he was not, so that when it came time to make decisions, he could make the best decision possible. Now, when it comes to homesteading, you need to know whether or not you're gonna pass out on the floor the first time you go to a chicken, right? It would be helpful to have that knowledge about yourself. You need to know whether or not you're strong enough to dig a hole to put a fence post in. You need to know all of those things about yourself before you get yourself into a homesteading situation and you're in a pickle and you can't get out of it. That way, if you're smart about it, you can surround yourself with people who are skilled in other areas that you are not necessarily skilled in, thus creating a tighter, bigger, stronger community. Yeah! Now, number 4 on my list is the ability, or rather the willingness, to learn new skills, new skill sets. The reason why I say that is because nobody can be, a master of absolutely everything you lay your hands on. There's just not enough time in life. You're gonna end up finding that you're really good at certain things and you're okay at some things, and you might not be good at all at some things. But the important thing is, on a homestead, there's gonna be new skills, there's gonna be new challenges literally almost every day, because you may be dealing with something like foxes getting into your chicken coop. Well, you're gonna have to outfox the foxes. You're gonna have to be willing to set aside your preconceived notions about how to deal with predators and deal with your specific situation. What about welding? What about how to build things? How about making something out of nothing when you've got no money or you can't get to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or whatever? Your willingness to learn new skills, new traits, and employ them is absolutely 100% essential. Okay, so for number 3 on our list, I can already hear the moans and groans from the interweb land people. They would probably argue that this number 3 should be number 1. But you'll hear my rationale. But number 3, in my opinion, for top essential, absolute traits of a homesteader is a freaking awesome work ethic. You have got to be willing to get out there and bust your hump every day, day after day, without exceptions. The chickens aren't gonna wait on you. The goats are not gonna wait on you to be milked. And if you do try to wait on them milking, you're gonna end up hurting the animals. When you enter a homesteading life, it is a commitment like no other, but the workload is insane. And so if you're not the kind of person that goes, yeah, I'll just get out the post hole diggers and fix that fence today, and if you're not that kind of person, if you're not willing to do that, well, then you might want to consider what workload you really are able to and are willing to achieve, and maybe reset your homesteading bar to a more appropriate level for your willingness to work, because it'll take it out of you. Ask any farmer. You want to talk about some hardworking people, talk to farmers, specifically talk to dairy farmers. These people have no lives. They're literally up at the butt crack of dawn, and they don't go to bed until long after everybody's done. They barely get time to sit down with their family, if at all, and they are absolutely busting it all day long. So consider, this is an important one, workload. You have got to be willing to be able to do a ton of work. Now for number 2, I think this one is absolutely important and essential as well. And that is to have a can-do mental attitude. You're gonna hit bumps in the road, and it's gonna be sometimes hard not to throw your hands up and go, I don't care. I'll go back to doing things the way I was. But the reality is, if you don't have that mental toughness, that ability to say, nope, let's try it a different way, or let's do it this way, or I think I can do it a different way, and just keeping that solid mental attitude when things are literally difficult. If you can have that, it will greatly help you in a homesteading situation in life. All right, now lastly but not leastly, at least for this list, the top number 1 homesteading essential trait that I believe is purpose. You got to know why the heck you're out there doing what you're doing, or else it's going to get really dark really fast when you start hitting bumps in the road. You've got to have a solid core of what it is you're doing, why you're doing it. For example, my family, we believe that God has been directing us to become more self-reliant, and it keeps going. It started with literally a class taking, a beekeeping class for me, which was way outside of my comfort zone. And then it became gardening, and then it became chickens, and then it became goats, and now we're trying to do the whole package. But for us, it was absolutely something that we felt internally that God was saying, I want you to become as self-reliant as you can. I want you to be able to provide as much food without anybody else's help except me, meaning God, that you can. And I want you to start teaching other people how to do it. The purpose, the reason why you're homesteading, I believe, is the core. Because if you have all those other things, but you don't have a purpose, I think you're still gonna fail. It's just my opinion, but I think that without that core, stuff's gonna rattle you, and you're not gonna be able to cling to a reason, a mission, if you will, of why it is you're doing what you're doing. I'm doing this because you've got to have that solid core. So anyway, there's my list, folks. You go ahead, tell me what you like, what you don't like, if you thought I missed something. Now these are just the top 5, right? And it is opinion, so I would love to hear what you have to say. Just be nice, keep it clean, you know the drill. Hey, oh, by the way, please share the videos. It greatly helps out my family, and well, thank you. I'm Brad with Big Family Homestead, and you guys have an amazing day.